Hi, this is Greg Ellers from Einstein's Disease. We're back for the third segment with our great guest, Matt Renner, CEO of PassPass. Matt, it's great to have you back.
Yeah.
In this segment, what I really want to do is I want you to explain to us what's PassPass.
Sure.
You, in a previous segment, you mentioned your business partner, Edge, from Nashville. Tell us a little bit about PassPass. Well, tell us about how you got together, and then more importantly, what is PassPass? You talk about long-term building wealth, so I imagine you've got a long track to go with this one. But let's hear about it.
Yeah. So met Edge from just mutual friends in Nashville. I'm a musician as a hobby, and met him.
What's your instrument?
I'm singer-songwriter.
Yeah,
it's something,
We'll have you sing the close.
Yeah. Just it's something I love to do. I've done it since I was young, and everyone's got their passions, right?
That's right.
So met Edge, and we kind of bonded over our love of music, and realized that we wanted to do a business together. And I had some concepts, and he had some concepts, and we landed on PassPass. And really, what PassPass is, if you go to our website, you'll see it says the fun way to find deals, win prizes, and make money. But what it really is it's a marketplace. It's kind of a new version of a marketplace. If you look at most marketplaces that are out there, whether it be Google or Yelp or Groupon or name the kind of the marketplace, most of those are on the business side of it. They're negotiating deals or something with the businesses, and the businesses are paying for it. Right. And part of the problem that we're solving is in the US, about 65% of small businesses go out of business every year. And every 10 years. And the reason that they go out of business is two things. Number one is lack of demand, and number two is lack of financing. So they don't have enough demand for the product. They don't have enough cash. Pretty simple. And so one of the businesses that I really admire is Costco. And what Costco is it's a membership club that their members get discounts when they go into a Costco store. So if you think about PassPass as like a decentralized Costco, it's a membership club for people to join. They can save money at local businesses, get deals. They can enter giveaways and win prizes, etc. But on the back end, what makes it a unique model is that any business in the application or any organization, nonprofit creator, can build and refer their customers, their audience, their following to PassPass and earn a percentage of the monthly fees that the members pay to have access to the marketplace. So in a way, it's like a digital co-op, right?
Okay.
If you think of like a co-op marketplace, you go there, everyone has their own store. They all market the co-op together and everyone gets a piece of the sales. That's PassPass.
So businesses aren't being charged to be on PassPass, but you're telling me that they get the opportunity to earn revenue.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And the revenue is a long-term annuity that it pays them every single month for perpetuity as long as the members that they've referred are still members of the platform. And it really coincides with this kind of shift in our world to this creator economy, is what we call it. Everyone is an entrepreneur, whether you're on TikTok, whether you have a brick and mortar business, whether you're part of a larger company and you drive Ubers on the side or what have you. We live in a gig economy. We live in an entrepreneur and a creator economy. Yet most marketplaces that exist don't exist to really make it a win-win for the businesses that are participating.
Right.
Most of the time, it's the businesses are paying an advertising fee or a commission or whatever it is, and then they are providing the service. So we kind of turn that on its head and say, hey, business, why don't you go ahead and give the value of a program that helps your customers save money and discover new things, but you can also sell the broader network in every other business within the application as a benefit to your customers. And then you get a piece of their monthly $5 fee in perpetuity.
That's fantastic. So I can already, it's too good to be true. I'm sure that you've run into businesses that say, this is free and I can actually make money.
Yeah, we do. And We have 350 businesses that are making money, that are getting, or at least within the last 6 months, that's what we have brought on board. We brought on about 3,000 total businesses. We've about 40,000 members that have signed up, and but it's not without its challenges.
Sure.
It's still a startup, and people need to learn and how to do it. It's going to take time to build, but so far we've paid out over $250,000 to businesses that have brought on members, and yeah, it's growing.
That's great. And what markets are you in?
So we're in Twin Cities, Minnesota. We're in Nashville. We're in Atlanta. We're in San Diego. We're in Boston. We're in 160 cities right now, and yeah, it's been a fun challenge.
Absolutely. So with this challenge, and as we talked about in the last segment with the younger generation, you've got these locations around the country. You've got different markets. Talk to us a little bit about how how do you communicate? How does everybody know they're a part of the whole team, Matt? What's your secret sauce for that? Because you didn't start in a half a dozen markets in 160 cities. You started in Nashville, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think in our business, when we first created the business, we first set our mission. In the very first planning session, we created a mission. Our mission is to keep every business in business. We set a vision for the company. We set our core values. And then we created our company norms, like our operating norms. How are we going to operate? What is going to be expected? And we chose a select number of tools to do that. So we use Slack, we use email, of course. And then we just set those cultural norms. If we're going to communicate together, what is our expectations? If I send you a message, and because we're remote, we're not all in the same office. If I send you a message, how long should I expect before I get a response? Right? And when we're doing messages, what are our cultural values of how we treat each other? Who is responsible for what, making sure that we have a strong org chart where everyone knows what they're accountable to, who's accountable, who's responsible. That way, when people, inevitably encounter challenges and they say, oh, well, I'm having this issue, we can say, well, let's look back. How does that fit into our core values? Is that how we operate? Is that our cultural norms? No, it doesn't. Well, the playbook. This is the playbook. We've communicated it clearly. Let's make sure we follow the playbook. And if someone doesn't want to follow that playbook, it's okay. They can go operate how they want to operate with another company. But inside our culture, you're going to operate how we operate. And, so far it's been working, I think, pretty well. But, like anything else, you have your challenges, and it's only as good as you manage it.
Right. How many employees do you have now?
Well, we have 22 employees, something like that. But we have 1,000 affiliates, and we're a marketplace. So our communication, we have to be able to take complex messaging, simplify it down, and communicate to all of our constituents, not just our employees. And we have many more affiliates and contractors and people like that are not direct employees, but they're part of our ecosystem. And, so our communication has to be succinct to all of those.
No, absolutely. And you're also faced with the challenge, like we talked about before, in terms of communication.
Yeah.
You talked about your culture internally, how you communicate, what's required. But if you're communicating to your affiliates and your thousands of people that are businesses, you really have you don't have a long string to be able to communicate with people, which I guess also makes it a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Fortunately, there's a lot of modern tools to do that. But I always heard, I don't. Maybe it was Brian Chesky that said this from Airbnb, the founder of Airbnb. I'd rather have 100 diehard fans or diehard people that believe in what we're doing than tens of thousands of people that don't, right? So our challenge right now is just finding that first group, the diehards that really want to build something special, and then working with them to make sure that they're having success. Ultimately, I think there's a lot of success we've had, but we've got a lot of failure. We've had a lot of things that we've tried that have not worked, and we're still testing things. And you look at us, and we're a year in, but at my other company that we built over 23 years to several $100 million, we were still testing things at 200 employees. So I don't think there's never a destination that you get to where you won't have challenges growing, where you won't have communication issues, where you won't have employee issues or market issues or whatever it is. It's just an ongoing process, and you just have to be used to reinventing yourself every 6 months, because that change is what allows you to grow.
Absolutely, well said. We're here with Matt Renner, the CEO of PassPass, where PassPass is endeavored to keep every business in business. I guess we'd call it Costco without a roof, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
Good way to say it. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back to close out this segment. Matt, thanks very much for your time. It's Greg Ellers from Einstein's Disease, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you.
You break past limitations and rethink success. Are you ready to push the boundaries of what's possible?